am so honored to have. I call her the daughter of San Francisco, born and raised, and she's now working at U.S. Uh, San Francisco General Hospital as a registered nurse. Really honored to have Francille Badiola here with us. Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Yeah, so I know I gave a quick short bio. If you could share with us, tell us about yourself and how did you venture into the medical field?
So just like you said, I was born and raised here in San Francisco, Bay Area native. Went to the University of San Francisco to get my nursing degree. And I just kind of knew pretty early on that I wanted to become a nurse. Well, not specifically a nurse, but in the healthcare field. I am the oldest of three girls. And I was always taking care of my sisters, always helping my parents, around the house. And so it just was like a natural pathway for me to go into the healthcare field. Nursing has always spoke to me. Just caring for the sick, being at the bedside. That was just always so appealing to me. And and here I am 8 years later. I am working in an intensive care unit at San Francisco General Hospital, which has now turned into the COVID ICU. So that's where I am. That's where I'm now.
Yeah, and since you brought it up, I mean, with the backdrop of COVID-19, we're seeing a lot of frontline workers really kind of in the trenches, interacting with COVID-19 patients and family members. Can you tell me about your experience? I mean, you were really there right from the beginning at SF General. Can you kind of share with us what was that like in the ICU? Working with patients?
Sure, yes. So nurses have always been on the front lines. We every year or every flu season, we are always, it's always in the back of our minds, like, what will this flu season bring to us this year? Because every year is different. But we're always prepared. This year, it just happened to be COVID-19. But I feel like as nurses in the ICU, we're really prepared to take on whatever challenges that comes our way. We saw COVID first really hit New York, unfortunately, though that was pretty devastating. I think we learned a lot from it. So we got our first patient at the end of March of COVID, but we were really prepared. We really started talking about COVID beginning of March. So our management has been so great in stepping up, and we were able to identify what was going to hinder us from taking care of these patients successfully pretty early on. And so the first one being, we started conserving PPE early. PPE meaning personal protective equipment. So that is what actually protects us nurses, us healthcare workers, from contracting this disease. So that's like the eye shields, a mask, that gloves, everything. So we knew this is valuable equipment. So we conserved that pretty early so that we wouldn't run out. So we started doing that. And then the second thing that we started doing was we brought on more staff onto the ICU. A lot of people don't know this, but if you are a patient on a ventilator, you have to be in the intensive care unit. You cannot be in any other unit in the hospital. So that being said, if the ICU can only hold so many patients. So we had to open up the OR, the PACU, get ready to use other parts of the hospital to bring on these patients. So we opened up those units for COVID patients, and we brought on more ICU nurses from PACU, from OR, brought them back into the ICU so that we had enough staff to take care of these patients. So I think those two things kind of made us feel more comfortable that if we did get a surge of patients, that we were able to take care of them.
So. Now, we know many of us have, visited a hospital before or faced hospitalization. We know the important role of nurses, but in the special circumstances of, COVID-19 in the backdrop, what different roles have nurses taken on?
Yeah. So specifically in the ICU, we have a specialty in a sense that we can take care of patients on a breathing machine or a ventilator. That's what it's called. So not every patient that has COVID is on a ventilator, but a lot of them do get to be on a ventilator. So those patients are very sick. If you can imagine, they're on a breathing machine. So we're using all our skills to help make these patients comfortable, to kind of just make sure that they can get through it. And a lot of them are on the ventilator for a long period of time. We're talking about 10 to 12 days, which is about the average of what we're seeing. So in that case, nurses really, we're working with each other, and we're like taking on these patients as kind of like our own project. I come into work, I'm like, I'm going to make this patient get better. This is my project today, because I want to see them get through this. And it's not like we don't do that for any of our other patients. It's just, these patients don't have their family members there with them at the bedside, which is also very hard, because visitors cannot visit these patients. So nurses kind of take on that burden as being also their emotional support, their physical support, like everything that they need. So it's kind of transformed the workflow in the hospital, because we're being that middleman too for the families, and FaceTiming like wives and their children, so that they can see their loved ones. So yeah, it's been a challenge for sure, but it's definitely rewarding too. So
yeah, I'm really glad you brought that up, because when we hear in the press, medical staff as frontline workers, you think of the analytical, the working kind of more on scientific side, on the healthcare side, but there's a whole mental health care aspect where you're playing the role of the family member. So now I know during our pre-briefing call, you also shared with me there's some significance with May 2nd, 2020, and it somehow involved you. Unfortunately, COVID-19 was involved. What's the significance of that day?
So May 2nd was supposed to be my wedding in Puerto Vallarta. My fiancé, who happens to also be an ICU nurse at San Francisco General Hospital, we both work together, we're coworkers in the same unit. He too works on the front lines in the COVID ICU. So we recognized even before the shelter in place that this whole situation, even though our wedding is the most important day of our lives, we knew that this whole situation was bigger than us, and we have a calling, a duty to our community and to our patients. And so we actually canceled the wedding before the shelter in place, because we knew we had to be here for our patients. We knew we couldn't just go off to the tropical beaches of Mexico and think it will always be in the back of our minds that our patients needed us here. So we decided to put that on hold for now, and to do what we signed up to do, and that's to take care of our patients.
That's beautiful. So your fiance is also in nursing as well,
right? Yes. Yep, both of us working together. So it's been challenging. Of course, we're very high risk, and he's worried about me at work. I'm worried about him getting it, and so. But it's also beautiful in the sense that we share that same passion, and we truly understand the challenges and the rewards that comes with being a nurse during these times. So if anything, it's made our bond stronger. So grateful for that.
Oh, that's beautiful. Kind of wrapping up on COVID, now that, you just mentioned that you do work in a high risk environment, what are some precautions that you take to protect yourself from the family, but also what's some advice you can give to those that want to stay healthy, and safe during this time?
Yeah. So since I am working directly in contact with these patients, I have made it a point to really distance myself from seeing my family, my friends. It's really been hard,
Yeah.
but I know the greater good of what's going to come out of it is like, I'm saving them from any risk of contracting this disease, because I saw what it can do, and COVID does not discriminate. It gets the young, the old, the healthy, the sick, and so I just try to be selfless in a sense that I've been using Zoom, was Zooming my friends, Zooming my family. Mother's Day, my 92-year-old grandma learned how to use Facebook Messenger video chat, I guess is what it's called. So, I think we're all kind of just trying to do what we can. I mean, socializing is very important as human beings. So I totally get that, everyone wants to hang out with their family and their friends, but patience is going to really be the key to success here. And I think I can't stress it enough that we'll all get through it together. We just got to be patient. And in the meantime, kind of just, do what you can with FaceTime, with Zoom. And then it won't be before long that we can all hold each other. So just hang tight.
Now, fun question for you. What are some self-care kind of rituals that you do?
Oh, wow. Yes.
Kind of ice cream.
I wish. Well, now that I'm not on a wedding diet. We live here in the Sunset. So we love walking along the beach or along Great Highway. Me and my fiancé, we love taking hikes. So we've been doing that.
Okay.
And then it's just, kind of, work is so stressful that when I'm at home, I just want to I don't want to think critically anymore. So I just, watch some guilty pleasure TV shows, or, just Zoom my sisters and my family and my friends. And I think that's really important, is just kind of to stay connected with the people that you love, but safely.
Yeah, no, thank you for sharing that. I think we're all trying to get inspiration from one another on how to have self-care and stay sane during this time.
Right.
Kind of wrapping up your career in the medical field as a nurse, as a registered nurse, what are some advice for folks that are, young folks that are, or even folks who are thinking about career switching, getting into nursing? What are some advice for you, for those folks? What advice do you have for them?
The advice that I have, if you are coming into this field, is be prepared to work. Be prepared to work. Be prepared, just like what happened. It's proof of what happened this season. Anything can happen. Anything can come of us, and you have a responsibility and a duty to take care of the patients that you are committed to. So with that in mind, on that note, rather, the reward 1,000% outweighs, any risk, because when you see that, patient wake up from being intubated, being sedated, and they're thanking you and they're crying and they're thanking you, it makes everything all worth it. So it's a great career. I cannot see myself doing anything else. And truly, I think I'm the lucky one. So if you're going for it, then maybe I'll work with you. Maybe we'll work together in the ICU.
Yeah, no, I just love that you're, homegrown, San Francisco, educated here, and now you're giving back to the community at SF General. I think it's just a beautiful story. We're so happy to have you on Facebook Live. It is APA Heritage Month, and we're so honored to have you here. What is being Asian Pacific American kind of mean to you? Perhaps maybe in the medical field.
Sure.
What does that mean to you?
Yeah, no, totally. Um, Especially being Filipino American as a nurse, I mean, there's all these stereotypes of what a Filipino nurse is and looks like. And I feel like if you look at me, being on the front lines in the COVID ICU kind of maybe will alter some people's perceptions of what a Filipina nurse is. And I am proud to be Filipino. I'm proud to be a nurse, and I just want to continue that legacy. Filipino nurses have been in this field for a very long time,
Hmm.
and some nurses who are non-Asian will even tell you that they were mentored by that Filipino community that was so strong back in the day before my time. So I just want to continue that legacy and hopefully represent the Filipino nurses as best as I can.
That is beautifully said. But no, thank you so much for what you do. And I know you're getting back into the trenches on Monday.
Yeah.
We're so honored to have you here. Any kind of last parting words for
No,
us?
I just want to thank you, Jack, and thank the APA Heritage Foundation for this platform. What you guys are doing is so awesome, and I'm proud to be part of it.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for being part of the Facebook Live APA Heritage Month celebration. Representation matters. And we thank
Yes, it does.
Francille for all of your hard work and being on the front line and educating us today as well. Thank you, Francille.
All right. Thank
Good luck.
you. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.